This is the review of the 2015 Volvo X60. This is the model that comes with the 4-cylinder turbo supercharged, which dishes out about 300 horsepower. I want to talk about the appearance of this car because I was kind of taken aback by this car. I don't know why I didn't catch this at the car show, but out on the road looking at it live, it is a very elegant design. By far one of the most elegant designs I've seen for a truck, and it has sort of like feminine qualities, and I don't mean that in a bad way. There's an elegance to it, and I could see a woman liking this, a woman with taste liking this truck. So they did a good job on that. The wheels are very nice, but sober. You know, they don't scream out. They're not boy racer. The best view of this truck, I think, is from the rear. This thing has hips. If you look here, as the light goes down, it feels like it has hips. The trunk opens automatically, and the floor of the trunk is extremely high. I mean, I almost feel they thought of like a parent putting in their stroller, or women putting in their bags. They don't want to bend too much because they don't want to hurt their backs. It's very comfy oriented, it seems, even in that respect. So I'm going to say that a lot during this review, how I feel it's a very effeminate car. Now on the inside. The interior has a minimalist design language. It isn't super quality, but it isn't super crappy. It feels like a $50,000 vehicle inside. That steering wheel is so comfy and so amazing, and it's incredible actually. I rarely felt such a good steering wheel ever in my life. Look at how clean the design is. I mean, it's very, very clean. It's minimalist. That center console has so many buttons, and it's so, I don't know, it's so not user friendly. They just made a mess out of it. They should change that. I mean, I just don't like it. However, the graphics of the display in the center stack, and also in where the gauges are normally, the driving gauges, is very good. Going inside, once again, very elegant minimalist lines. I mean, it really had a great effect on me. I don't know if everyone's gonna like this, but this is more like a personal opinion, but it looked pretty good. Inside, the rear space, it's actually kind of ridiculous how little rear space there is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a subcompact, but for the size, this is like a 5,000-pound vehicle. It should be maybe a bit bigger. Once again, going inside, in the front though, however, you have plenty of room. And once again, like, I just find that it looks pretty good. The visibility is amazing, and yeah, look at it. It has like aluminum touches. I don't know if it's real aluminum. There's a rimless rear view mirror that's huge, and you have a great visibility in back. We can't see it, but the materials on the roof liner are pretty good. The gauges looks techy, but it's really easy to read. And the Harman-Kardon system really sucks. I mean, this radio, this is the optional radio. I've never heard such a bad sounding optional radio. I mean, I don't know, maybe there was something wrong with it, but I checked to see if the settings were right, but whatever. Here are my impressions on the road. Okay, so this is the review of the Volvo truck and the X60, and this is the 2015. We're gonna check out how it drives. Waiting for Ross inside. I can tell you right now that this truck looks amazing from the outside. I really find it looks good, and from the inside, it doesn't feel incredible, but it feels like it's worth every penny that I paid for it. So this steering wheel, once again, you know when you have a wonderful steering wheel and nice seats and great touch points, it just makes the whole interior experience better, and Volvo does that very well. These seats are wonderful. I feel I could ride like in these for an hour. The touch points are great. The haptics for the controls are, I don't know, maybe not that perfect. But everything feels like a sub $50,000 truck. Also, another thing about this truck that I find, it's a very feminine truck. I just find it seems to be like, you know, in this category we see a lot of I see a lot of high-end women driving these. You know, these $50,000 either German or non-German trucks. I see a lot of women driving those, and this thing weighs like over 2 tons. And I think the sentiment of security, when you can get the sentiment of security a brand power because women are very sensitive to the brand, and also great visibility. I think you're a winner. Like, the rear view visibility on this thing is the best I've seen in any truck that I've driven. Also, I find the windows are enormous here. You can see everywhere, except Ross was pointing out the rear 3/4 is a little bit dicey, but on trucks they normally are. Apart from that, it's great. It's got seems to have like a reasonable turning radius. It's easy to park. I'm here in a small shopping mall waiting for Ross, and it feels great. This car is just a pleasant place to sit in. Now, I'm gonna go on the road and tell you what I think about the drive. Okay, so out in the city, oddly enough, for something that weighs over 2 tons, you don't really feel the weight that much. It's very easy to drive. The control weights are all very, very light. Gas pedal, steering, it's just very light. Brakes, everything is very lightly set. Another thing I want to say is the suspension is very compliant. No problem here. This is a very bumpy road. It's actually horrible. And the 4-cylinder moves this 2-ton truck along quite well. I'm quite surprised by that. Let's just do this. Yeah, you know, it's like sort of like a turbo / supercharged engine, Ross was telling me, and the response is pretty good. Another thing I'm noticing when I'm driving is that despite being on horrible roads with all kinds of bumps, no noise, no vibration, no harshness. It's very good, and it feels European, I guess you could say, especially in the city. But right now we're going to take it on the highway and see what it's like. So now I'm out on the highway with this truck, and I can tell you it's very good indeed. Not too much wind noise, not too much road noise. Ross and I are talking, we can understand each other, there's no problem. I have to say that I'm really liking this truck. It's kind of hard for me to judge these things because I've never been a truck guy, but of recent I've been reviewing only trucks, so I'm getting an idea of what it takes to be a good truck. And I would have to say that one of the things that this truck does well, and I find it hides its weight well. Another thing that I noticed about this truck is I've never been in a truck that felt so big on the outside. It feels big sitting here, yet the rear seats are not that good actually. Well, they're comfy, but there's not that much room. So I would say that especially the leg room is lacking. So for example, when I'm sitting behind myself, there's enough room for myself, but not more. So if you're gonna be dragging around a lot of tall people, I don't think this is your truck. Also, another thing, I find the suspension, it's not hard at all, but it doesn't drive like a boat. I find it's like the sweet spot for suspensions in these kinds of vehicles. So it's pretty good. There was a time when people bought Volvos because they were the safest cars on the road and nothing else. They were basically rectangles, and it was a big rectangle with a little rectangle on top, and in the little rectangle there would be holes for windows, and that's where you'd see those weird drivers driving those cars. Today, Volvos are making much more desirable looking vehicles. Now, I don't know about their reliability that well. Volvo's not been famous for that. I will say though, this is okay. This is very good, and I'm pleasantly surprised by my driving experience. So, and I feel that you're getting, it feels like a $40,000 to $50,000 Canadian truck. Those are my impressions on the Volvo, so I think it is okay.